What's going on, guys? It's your boy Beats by Ash, back at it again with another banger of a video. And today I want to showcase a very awesome green-white rabbits deck utilizing a new mythic rare from bloomburrow Alchemy that might just give you a reason to try out Magic the Gathering's very own digital-only format for the very first time. So without further ado, let's get into the goo. Alright guys, well here is the deck, and I have to say I've never been much of an Alchemy guy, but this card right here, Buxton Decorated Host, might have just made me become the next Alchemy Timmy, and I have to say, I'm very confident that this could be the most powerful Alchemy card ever created. It is 5 mana for a 4/4 with Convoke, meaning we can tap any number of creatures we control, even if they have Summoning Sickness, to pay for 1 mana of this card's casting cost, which is really awesome in a deck where we can very easily flood a lot of tokens onto the board. And it has an effect that during the end step, for each creature you control that is tapped, you seek a non-land permanent card with mana value X or less equal to the amount that you tapped, which is absolutely insane because when you really think about it, this card is just a more pushed version of Knight Errant of Eos. Sure, you can't add multiple things, but the fact that this is every end step and not just the turn that you cast it means that since we're trying to play an aggressive game, we can very easily trigger this multiple turns in a row and keep accruing value where we're just putting new game pieces on the board, which really aligned with our overall game plan. And man, this card can get out of control very fast, especially with the amount of tokens we can generate. It doesn't require you to actually spend mana on the same turn that you play something. So very common, what'll happen is if we start off with one of our 12 1-drops into a 2-drop, on turn 3, if we play hop to it, we will have a total of 5 creatures on the board, which means turn 3 will be putting out Buxton, and we'll already have 5 creatures on the board. This will be the 6th, and then we'll get another thing during the end step, which almost certainly is going to cause our opponent to quit out unless they have an immediate answer. But this card alone, I think, just makes one of the best decks in Standard currently even more over the top, considering that some of the other viable options that are at the top of the tier list in Standard right now just are not playable because of the limitations of the card pool in Alchemy, which really makes this deck stand above the rest in my opinion. This is a pretty standard list. Like I said, we have 12 1-drops. Valley Mightcaller gives a 1/1 counter for every creature we put into play. Considering all of the creatures in our deck outside of Sanguine Evangelist are creatures of a type that are listed on this card, and the fact it has trample means that we can very easily push through our opponent's board. And that has really good synergy with Buxton because if we already have this on the field and we go hop to it, now this is 4/4 and then we play this in the same turn. Now it's 5/5. We get a guy during the end step and it is now 6/6 because all of the permanent cards in our deck are in fact creatures, which is absolutely insane. Paw Patch Recruit is another all-star from bloomburrow. I think this card is going to see play for quite some time because if you were able to pay the offspring cost on this, it makes it so difficult for your opponent to efficiently answer your entire board when you're an aggro deck that's really good at flooding the board. And unless they have something like a lockdown, or maybe they're playing a domain deck and they have, board wipes, it's really difficult for them to come back. And I see this card as being very powerful for the next 2 years in Standard at least. Seasoned Warren Guard isn't as good, but considering we're good at token generation, it's just a cheap guy to throw down. And then Valley Quest Caller is absolutely amazing as well. Being able to AoE buff all of our tokens. Beauregard Mentor, obviously, this is one of the highlights of the new set, being essentially almost just a better version of Regal Bunnycorn from Wilds of Eldraine if your deck is already playing green and white. And then Phineas is also a really cool one because once you have a wide board, you can attack with this, and even if it dies, it's still probably worth it since if you have enough creatures on the board, you're going to get to draw a card to replace this, and you might be putting 5 1/1 counters on things. It's going to be really difficult for your opponent to come back, and it just randomly has Vigilance and Reach, which I don't think both of them were necessary to make this card great. but it is a legendary, so we are only playing 2. Sanguine Evangelist, honestly, I'm not certain what I want to replace this with yet, but this is definitely a flex slot, and I'm definitely interested in trying out different things. I was trying out an Innkeeper's talent in this slot, but we will have to see what ends up happening with this. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. And then Hop to It, I've mentioned this many times already. This card just has synergy with pretty much every card in our deck, and it is absolutely amazing in a very aggressive low-to-the-ground format. Warren War Leader is one that really glues the deck together, because once you have a big board, now you're just attacking for way more damage. And if you're able to offspring this, it gives your aggro deck, something to spend all of your mana on in the late game if you're dead drawing lands, which doesn't typically happen, but it is just a nice implication for the versatility in an aggro deck, because giving everything +2/+2 is probably just the best thing you could be doing when you have 6 open mana in a go wide aggressive deck. And I found this card to be particularly oppressive in both draft and sealed. And then lastly, we're playing 1 Season of the Burrow. Honestly, this card has done a lot of good work for me, and I think my perception of this has been kind of skewed because I want to play more than 1 copy. I'm just not sure what I want to cut. Maybe I'll cut a Sanguine Evangelist, because this is just a really good way to push through your damage, and bringing back something from the grave that has trample and giving it indestructible is pretty disgusting. But this card very easily could be played at more than 1 copy. It's just the fact that I look at our aggro deck and I'm like, okay, we already have 4 copies of a 5-costed card, but then I realized most of the time we're really just playing this card for 1 or 0 mana, so that's probably not going to be an issue, but it's definitely something I would recommend playing around with, because this card can be very good in certain matchups, and I'm interested to see what you guys think about this ratio. And then for the lands, I've adjusted things from standard because we don't have a couple of the lands that are available in standard. I think to note, the green-white pain land that makes you pay a life to add a green or a white is not available in this format, and so I'm playing 4 copies of Captivating Crossroads, a card that many people have probably never seen before, but a very cool one nonetheless. So it is one that you declare any mana, and you get to add any mana of that chosen color while it's on the field. And if you go first on the first 3 turns of the game, it comes into play tapped. But if you go second, it's just always untapped. And, our stuff is very low costed. A lot of times we could be at 3 mana, only have a 2-drop, and it doesn't matter to come into play tapped. But I think it's better to hedge for going second than it is going first, since our deck is really steamrolling going first anyway. And then obviously Cavern of Souls is a really good card to stop people from countering our creatures we want to get on the board. And then we're playing Fabled Passage because of the lands we don't have available in this format as well. And I've found Fabled Passage to be actually very nice, especially because, if we don't have the ability to scry with Valley Quest Caller, it's just a way to remove lands from our deck, and I think that's pretty valuable in a very low-to-the-ground aggressive strategy. And then we're playing 4 Oak Hollow Village, which is honestly amazing in this deck, because if we play Hop to It and we have extra mana, that's 3 1/1 counters, which is very exceptional. And then the Lupin Flower Village, honestly, I might consider taking this out, because it feels like you never really run out of gas in this deck with stuff like, scrying from the Quest Caller and Buxton just getting resources out of the deck every turn. So maybe we should replace this, but I'm trying it out for now. And that's pretty much it for the deck. So if you guys have any questions or suggestions, make sure to let me know down below in the comments. But let's go ahead and hop into these games. All right, game number 1. We're going to be starting off on the play here. I think this is just an easy mull. Our hand just doesn't have green, and it's very high costed for a deck like this. But we are going first, so I feel pretty good about going down to 6 here. Alright, well, this hand is quite a bit better, but the Captivating Crossroads does come into play tapped, which could be an issue. Honestly, I think it could be quite a bit worse, so I think I will keep this. Let's go ahead and put back the Captivating Crossroads, to be honest. We can drop down the Seasoned Warren Guard. Now, the Oak Hollow Village does not really negatively affect us because we don't have any green cards that are non-creatures, so that is nice to note. Also, what I really like about this Buxton Decorated Host is that now, even if we don't end up getting to a 4th land, we're going to have enough creatures turn 3 to where we're going to be able to tap out to play this on the following turn, even if they kill one of them. Oh, we get a Paw Patch Recruit. That is amazing. Yeah, I think we would much rather prefer the Paw Patch Recruit here, give our board a little bit of insurance, and it's going to buff up both of our Season Warren Guards since we now control the Offspring token. So we're now able to attack for 6 total damage, which is really, really nice in this game state. Our opponent has a Waterkin Shaman. When a creature with flying enters, it gets +1/+1. That seems really bad. Okay. I don't know what this guy's trying to do. Maybe he's playing mono blue tempo. This is the thing about Alchemy, guys. You play against so many cards and so many decks that you're like, wait, when did this happen? Like, I've been playing the last year of Magic. I've never really seen this card. That's really weird. It's a very common occurrence in Alchemy. You know, a lot of Alchemy Timmies out there play only Alchemy cards. Okay, he plays a Warden of Evos Isle. Creature spells with flying cost 1 less. Interesting. We're going to take 3 here. To be honest, since we should always be the aggressor if we're doing the right thing with our deck, we don't really care about our life total. So we get a 4th land here. And to be honest, we could just tap out for our Buxton if we want to. Yeah, let's go ahead and go to combat here and get him for our 6 damage since it's relatively free. I highly doubt that he's going to trade that away. He's going to trade, okay. What's really nice is that these tapped creatures we attacked with will count for the X cost of what we're going to seek out of the deck with our Buxton, even though we didn't use them to convoke, which is really cool. And now here, we can go ahead and play the Sanguine Evangelist. And now we're going to get a token, which means we can tap out all of our creatures and our 1 land to play the Buxton in the same turn, which is absolutely ridiculous. And we just get a Warren War Leader onto the field. Holy shit, boys. That is crazy.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Yeah, I think that pretty much just stole us the game. I don't know how our opponent could even come back from that. This card is just broken. I mean, even being able to just throw down a 4/4 in the same turn that we tapped out to do other things, getting anything is just going to be insane. And now that's an automatic on-site kill. And we're going to get a 2 Paw Patch Recruits since our opponent is trying to answer that, which is amazing. So he's just tapping it down. He's pacifisming, so it doesn't really matter. Ooh, baby, we got it. Let's go. Paw Patch Recruits. All right, match number 2. Unfortunately, we're going to be going 2nd this time, and we don't have a immediate white source. So maybe I shouldn't keep this, but I feel like giving up playing the Season Warren Guard on turn 1 really isn't that bad when we can go Quest Caller into Hop to it into Buxton. Yeah, I'm going to try this hand. And man, if we top deck a white source, this person is cooked. Mist Breath Elders. They might be playing frogs, okay. Put down the Fabled Passage and pass back. I always get frustrated playing this card in draft because sometimes it can just lock you out of playing other creatures because they keep getting bounced. 3-2 Scribe. Okay, this can get out of hand pretty quickly. Gets in for the 2. Sack the Passage, go get our white. Hope that our plays are not going to be too slow here. Cavern of Souls is kind of nice because he does play blue, so that might be relevant. Drop down the Quest Caller. We're going to need a hero for this quest. So because he bounced that back, he now has a 4/4 that only cost him 1 mana. That is ridiculous. Gonna replay that, okay. Well, this damage is going to add up pretty quickly, but we will get a chump blocker from our Hop to it next turn. Oh, that's just disgusting. Honestly, I haven't even played against a frog player in Standard. I'm really surprised to go against one in Alchemy since I've never seen one in Standard. Let's go ahead and drop down the Cavern of Souls and call Rabbit here. And then now we can drop down our Hop 2. We're going to get 3 Scries, which is great. Maybe that puts us back in this game. Don't need another land here. Oh, we only get 1 Scry. I'm stupid. I'm spreading misinformation. Spreading misinformation. I got you guys.
Gotcha, bitch.
And we're just going to pass here because we're not going to be able to kill that. So now as a 7/7, so we will be forced to chump. But next turn, we can go for another hop to it and play Buxton, which could be really nice. Hopefully our Buxton can find us something good. Maybe get back in this game. He's going to play Pawn Prophet. What would be really good is if we got our Season of Burrow to remove his Mistbreath Elder. And that would really set him back. So that's another reason why, you know, I would consider playing another Season of Burrow, because it answers anything. And sometimes your opponent can put up a wall like this. Like, if we're able to survive, it'll be really difficult for us to attack with him having that on the field, right? So we'll play down the Oak Hollow Village. And I guess we can play this hop to it here. If we play this hop to it, we can tap this, leave up our green so that we'll be able to use the Buxton here. Valley Quest Caller is cool, but I don't think we really want that right now. We're going to tap out for Buxton. Burrowguard Mentor. Seems a little bit late. I think we just want to find Season of Burrow and Warren War Leader. Phineas could be fine too, and then I guess we just have to pass. Okay, we get a Burrowguard Mentor anyway. Interestingly enough, Seeking does not actually change the order of your deck, which is really weird. I feel like it would make a lot more sense if you actually shuffled when you Seeked, but I guess not. It's funny because he did all this work to make his guy 7-7, and I just pulled a 10-10 out of my ass. Like, it didn't cost me anything. That's just so funny. Probably going to bounce the Pawn Prophet. He'll still get the 1-1s. Fortunately for us, he does not have Trample on his Mistbreath Elder, which makes it a lot worse relatively compared to my Valley Might Caller. In a lot of ways, Mistbreath Elder is just a slower version of Valley Might Caller. But I guess if your deck can play both, you play both. Okay, Dream Dew Trancer, okay. Taps down our Burrowguard, so now he's a good attack. We're going to go ahead and send in our tokens since he doesn't have Trample. If we get a Warren War Leader, we might be able to kill him. Oh my gosh, that is nice. We top deck that. You know how we be, son. Man, if we were able to Offspring that, this would be a lot of damage on the board. Let's go ahead and play our Forest. And then I guess we play Valley Might Caller here. Then play Warren War Leader. We're going to get a Scry. We're going to get a 1-1. Phineas, just seems kind of slow here. We'd have to wait another turn on that. The Scries are definitely adding up, though. I could just decide to attack with everyone. I mean, if my Buxton kills his Dream Dew and Trancer, I might be okay with that. Give everyone +1/+1. Yeah, I think I just need to sacrifice some people to potentially set up a lethal here. So he's going after the tokens, not going after the Buxton. That's interesting. Gets rid of the 3-tree Scribe. We can go ahead and chump block with our Valley Might Caller on his turn. And now we have 5 people tapped out, so we get the maximum value off Buxton. Ooh, and we get a Paw Patch Recruit. That's great. Good chump blocker, good way to add some insurance to our board. Grow the Might Caller, and then we're going to put that Oak Hollow Village on the bottom. One pro tip I will say with this card is that you need to hold full control for the end step after you resolve the Seek on this card, because once the Seek target gets put on the battlefield, if you aren't holding full control, you can't actually use Oak Hollow Village to give your guys 1-1s, which does make quite a bit of a difference when you get into the late game and you just have open mana, and I've definitely missed that a couple times before. Sunshower Druid, okay. A draft exclusive, I see you. Well, I think this guy's just cooked. I mean, this really just shows you the hierarchy of bloomburrow, being that obviously rabbits are just such a superior to the frog class, and we're showing it here today, baby. Let's go. Set him up, I'll knock him down. All right, well, I'm really surprised we were able to come back from that last game. It really looked like we were in bad shape with him growing that Mistbreath Elder attrition, but it was no match for the Rabbit Battalion. This hand seems not the greatest because unfortunately these are the 2 non-rabbit cards in our deck. So if I want to be able to play this turn 1, I would have to call Frog with my Cavern of Souls, which I don't really want to do. Okay, this hand seems quite a bit better. Captivating Crossroads on the draw, the best land in the deck on the draw, okay. Now, maybe we get rid of the Burrowguard Mentor. I think Valley Quest Caller might just be legitimately better here. Probably playing mono red, I would assume. call green, and then we get another Captivating Crossroads, which is great. That'll potentially give us our double white needed for our Warren War Leader. Plus, this isn't a white source that can be used for the hop to it. And he put down Recruit Instructor. So he's playing mice, not mono red. 1/1, and then whenever you attack with one or more mice, you get to draft a card. And then it has Valiant to create a 1/1 token. Okay. Let's check out this spell book. Angel Fire Ignitions, never seen that. Bargain, never seen that. Are these all alchemy cards? Okay, Boon of Safety, I've seen before. Okay, they aren't all alchemy cards. Maybe these are all real cards, and I'm just not familiar because it has an alchemy symbol. Okay, it seems like there's like a lot of variants. See, I don't like the spell books where it's like, there's some really good cards, and there's also just some really mid-ass cards. Well, we can go ahead and play down our Lupine Village. And then we'll drop down the Quest Caller, which means he cannot trade with my Paw Patch. And we're getting him for 3 here, so that's really nice. Next turn, we'll be able to go for the Hop to it. We'll get a Scry here, and then we'll have 3 2/2s, which might be difficult to answer. Mabel Heir to Cragflame. One of the key cards for a mice deck within bloomburrow Draft. Very interesting. I'm actually excited to see what this actually does for the deck, because to me, I feel like this card isn't that crazy. Maybe I'm wrong, but 2 mana for a 1/1, it just seems like a little bit fragile. Somebody let me know if that's a good card. All right, well, we already have another green, so we'll go for a white here. Play the hop to it. Don't want the Season Warrant card. Now, maybe I should attack with my Paw Patch. It doesn't seem like his deck should really have removal, so I think I'm just going to go with the Paw Patch if he wants to trade. Okay, he's not. Cool. Well, now at least we're the aggressor, so I don't necessarily need to chump with my tokens. He gets a 1/1 token, okay. Well, 2/2 token because he has a Mabel. And he's playing the other alchemy card for mice. When this enters, you get a Might of the Meek, and then you can put a 1/1 counter on it for each time you Valiant. Okay. Might of the Meek is an interesting one. It's difficult for me to evaluate this card because there's that one mana mouse card that's already 1/1 Valiant to get a 1/1 counter on it. With this, you're paying an additional mana for the same stat line, but you get a Might of the Meek, and I'm not sure how good that is, really. Like, part of the benefit of having a creature that grows with the other cards is that it's 1 mana, so you can do it immediately. Like this, maybe it's good, but it might be too slow. So this has Vigilance. Yeah, I'm not going to block that. I don't think I really care about that. All right, so we get a Buxton. That's actually really nice here, I think. Play it on our land. If we tap out for this, and then we attack, all of our people would be tradable with all of his guys, so that doesn't seem terrible. Or I could just tap everyone for a Buxton. I don't think I need another land here, because I'm probably playing this via Convoke if I choose to. I mean, I don't know that he can kill us next turn. I think what I want to do is just attack for 3. Give him +1/+1. He's going to take it. I'm going to tap everyone else for Buxton. I'm going to get the card off of him. He's a 5/5, so it's a good blocker. I don't want that next turn. And then we get another Warren War Leader. That was disgusting. Holy crap. All right, well, let's not draw that as well. Wow, we're 2 for 2 getting Warren War Leader off Buxton. That is disgusting. So he needs 7 damage here. I don't think he can kill us. You know, I'll always have a Warren War Leader no matter what. Let's just do this. Embercleave, is that just game? Might just be game. I'm not really sure. Math is for people who have an Embercleave. It's not game. Let's go. Yes, sir.
I fucking knew it!
Alright, well, we have game now. We have 2 Warren War Leaders. Well played, sir. No further actions needed, baby. Double +1/+1. And the boat does it again. Rabbits are OP in Alchemy Standard. Alright, guys. This is the final match of the day, so let's hope we can do some exciting things. Alright, well, we have no 1-drop, but we do have a Hop to it with a Buxton, which is a very good combination. I mean, I think we could keep this because Fabled Passage just gets us a white since we don't have anything to play turn 1. You know what, let's try it. I'm feeling ballsy today, boys. Yeah, even though we don't have a 1-drop, this is an absurd curve. Go ahead and pass here. Use the Fabled Passage during the end step. He's playing white. Probably a copycat. I could only assume. You know, I make an idea and everyone, you know, seems to think that they can do it better than me, but that's very often not the case. Okay, so he has a Flowerfoot Swordsmaster. So it seems like he's playing the same deck as the last person we played against, but first time seeing the Flowerfoot Swordmaster today. I think the card's okay. You just have to have a lot of mice before it becomes beneficial, and it's pretty fragile. Go get ourselves our first white source. And then we get a third Oak Hollow vid. And then we get a third Oak Hollow Village. That's pretty funny. Lucky for us, this is not a legendary. And then I'm going to play Valiant Quest Caller. Just think it's way better here. I'd rather just start getting my scries immediately. Unless he has a removal. He's just passing. That's really, really weird. Okay. Alright, well, we pick up a Valley Might Caller here, which isn't terrible. You know, honestly, I think since we're not going to be able to play Buxton this turn regardless, I'd rather just save the hop to it for next turn where we can play it and play the Buxton in the same turn. Plus, this just gives us 2 scries, which I think is, like, really important here. Or no, it gives us 1 scry. For some reason, I thought this guy triggered the Valley Quest Caller, but it gives us 2 creatures. Captivating Crossroads. I don't really need that at this point. I say that, and then we draw a War and War Leader, and I cry. He's playing a Valiant deck, and I don't want to lose this, so I just won't attack. I'm just going to let the Buxton do the work and sit back. Someone call Elon Musk, because I'm putting this Tesla on autopilot while Buxton takes control of the wheel, baby. Shove aside. Okay. So this is like the Alchemy version of a Lightning Bolt, which is kind of funny. Another Swordmaster. Still not paying for the Offspring. Very interesting. Okay, well, we're going to have 5 creatures regardless, so we are good to go, boys. Hop to it. I will get 3 1/1 counters, no scry, but the 1/1s are coming in. We're representing 10 damage, which is pretty ridiculous. Okay. Maybe I actually want to attack with these. Nah, just establishing this right now is just too huge. Like, there's no way he can come back, right? Oh my gosh, we did it. 3 for 3. The War and War Leader is here to stay, baby.
Gotcha, bitch.
Yeah, no one can stop the power of Buxton and his friend, the War and War Leader. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. The Alchemy devs gave you a way worse mythic rare. I'm sorry. Might want to take up your complaints with Cox Cable, buddy. Because Buxton and Warrant War Leader are all about bundling. Okay, he's drafting them from the spellbook. Unfortunately, spellbooks are useless and gay, so there's nothing you can do with that. Okay, he's getting in for the 1. Fuck on us with the 1 damage, sure. Hello, Captivating Crossroads. Thank you for being glued to my hand. We appreciate your patronage. We're going to play it out, let them know that we're jitted. And we're going to play hop to it. The 1/1s are flooding in. I now have 20 damage divided among 2 creatures, which is absolutely amazing. Balls to the walls. Let's get it, baby. War and War Leader, do your thing, son. Do your thing, shoddy. The rabbits came out to play. Beats by Ash is here with the double attacking tramplers. So let's go for game. Okay. Talk about it, baby. There's a reason they call me the best of all time, and it's because Buxton Decorated Host is a broken, absurd card and is one of the main reasons why people don't enjoy Alchemy. Many people did not enjoy Alchemy before, and I broke the game again. We did it, son. Yes, sir. All right, well, that just put a nice bow on our run with this Rabbits deck. And I have to say, I think this deck is completely unfair, so you better play it while you can if you want to rank up, because I don't see Buxton staying unnerfed for long. All right, well, that was an awesome showcase of how game warping Buxton Decorated Hosts really is in an already absurd meta tier 1 deck, and hopefully I gave a couple people some kind of incentive to try this out and maybe give Alchemy a shot. I have to say, I think this deck is a lot of fun even without Buxton, but that card just really takes it to another level. So I think you guys should definitely give it a try if you are already enjoying some of the tribal strategies to come out of bloomburrow thus far. But thank you so much for getting this far in the video, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. As always, if it's not the goo, it's got to go. Peace.
that indigo.